Adventurers in audio land, welcome to Point Noir, home of the Point Noir podcast. I'm your host, Jerry III, aka Kimono Jack, here to be your humble tour guide and MC throughout this travel experience, where we as always feature men of color who've been out here traveling and sharing their perspectives with us. Y'all, thank you so much again. I know I say thank you all the time, but seriously, it means so much. The reviews, the comments, the love shared on Instagram. We do our best to, keep this little love circle fest going. Every time you guys shout us out, I make sure to throw it up in the story or to make some sort of comment about it. Like, it's really awesome. You guys don't have to do it. And the show has been growing a little bit here and there every week. So, team, together, everyone achieves marshmallows. Y'all know the deal. Anyway, this is session 14. Glad we made it this far. Glad you're here with us, because today we got another lit episode. So stay tuned. We're about to introduce today's guest. Joining us today at the point is Dr. Donte Flanagan. Make sure you check him out on Instagram at doc.flanagan. You'll see all this in the show notes. This brother is a traveler, an adventurer. He's a doctor, an anesthesiologist, a mentor, a financial guru in some sense. This guy's doing it all, and we just jam out for an hour talking about any and everything under the sun and have a whole bunch of fun doing it too. So if you want to hear two brothers just jam out and crack jokes and talk about life and travel and how dope it is, pretty much it's the whole show, but it's definitely this show in particular. So sit back, take a few moments for yourself, grab a drink of choice, and let's get into today's session. Welcome to Point Noir, Donte. Thanks for joining us today, bro. How are you feeling?
I am good. Thank you for having me on the show. It's an honor to be here.
Dude, it's a privilege to have another viewpoint to talk and learn about, man. I'm stoked.
Yeah, me too. Glad to give, another side of the story.
Right, because we all need some perspective these days, don't we?
Yeah, I agree.
Word, man.
Agree.
So we met through a mutual friend of mine out there in ATL. I'm not going to call him out because he's going to be on the show soon, so I don't want y'all to know who the plug is, but definitely appreciate you just, answering a stranger's DMs on Instagram. It's lit, 2018.
Yeah,
so
kind of weird, but
like real talk though, like Instagram
is the world we're in right now.
Instagram's a new place to meet your best friends, and Instagram is also the new Tinder. So
exactly, DMs is popping out here.
Right. I can't wait till I have to explain to my future kids how I met their mother off of Insta,
about that.
Yo, might be for another show. I know you in the medical field, so some of these kids are going to be coming out not looking anything like either of the parents, though. How about that?
Oh man, that's going to be very interesting. I can definitely say I've witnessed some of that. It's awkward. It is awkward. But, it's not my battle to fight.
And who am I to stop the dreamers from dreaming, my guy? Who am I?
Exactly. It is what it is.
Well, you guys have now just joined the T Report today at Point Noir. We haven't even gotten to the show yet. Bro, let's talk about you, though. Let's talk about kind of where you came from, how you got involved in the traveling, and yeah, let's just start there, because it seems like we can take this in many directions. I'm excited.
Yeah. Let's see. I was born and raised in Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Okay.
We were, I would say, lower middle class family, just out here making it. Everybody's hard workers, dedicated to the community.
Yeah.
But at the same time, not no one in my family I knew of traveled. And just in general, I wanted to get outside of my city and just see what else was out here. For us, the biggest city we knew was Atlanta.
Okay.
So as a kid graduating high school, what's the first place I go to?
ATL.
Atlanta,
right?
ATL. I'm in Atlanta for college, stay there, but also during that same time period, I get put on to some international travel options.
Mm-hmm.
And as it goes in Atlanta or in life, a woman introduced me to traveling and other great things in the world.
Shout out to women right quick. Just shout out to influential women.
Shout out to these strong Black women putting this men on.
Hey.
It is amazing. So I met a woman who was Caribbean, West Indian, I should say. She had a passport. I didn't have a passport. and she wanted to go to an island. I couldn't go to the island.
Right.
So, hence, I guess at like 19, I got my first passport, and boarding the plane, going international, going customs, and all. It was just eye opening, and then meeting people who looked like me but sounded different than I did, and spoke languages that I couldn't understand, or and just living life differently was just eye opening, man. I was just like, okay. So I did the Caribbean for a few years, and I was like, okay, I got to do more. The world is so big. Like, what else is out here?
Yeah.
And that just sparked more and more travel and more research, and now it's an ongoing passion and hobby, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what's up. The perspective, and that's such a real point that you mentioned about seeing people that look like you. Like, I swear I'll be walking through some cities. I was in Botswana recently, even in Paris. You see something like, I swear that's my auntie, but I know she don't speak a lick of English,
None. But the thing is, too, when you get in these countries, there's this acceptance family, like how do I explain it? Like, you're welcome. Like, I'm gonna take care of you. I know you're not from here, but I know you're good people.
Right.
It's hard to explain, man. It's just it's a welcoming feeling seeing somebody that looks like you, even though you have completely different backgrounds and different present day states of being.
Right.
But yeah.
And not to make it too spicy, but it's interesting that feeling is so easily understood when you travel abroad, when you go 3,000 miles away from where you grew up from, but you might go 5 miles down the street and it ain't like that at all.
Oh man. Yeah. It's tough, man. It's which is also part of getting out of the US, is seeing where you can feel welcomed. Especially as a black man.
Yeah.
It's a great thing to feel welcome and at home and not looking over your back from our government. But that's another topic.
Right, another topic, man. We about to have a 4-part miniseries on this right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what's up. So where was the kind of next move after? So, I mean, you started pretty young, 19 teenagers. I mean, that's an experience. I still haven't been to the islands, and I'm definitely not a teenager, so I might need some pointers.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, dude, there's nothing like, I mean, the West Indies in general. It's just good people, good food, good culture, welcoming, friendly, and that's why I spent, I guess the next 5 years of my travel were all pretty much in the Caribbean.
Okay.
I think it was definitely the U.S. Virgin Islands a few times, Jamaica, Bermuda, where else? Dominican Republic a couple times.
All right.
Puerto Rico. Yeah, it's just, all up and down. Belize.
Okay.
Wow.
So you really just spent some time touring through that. That's what's up. Like I said, I haven't been through there, but I know the culture is something I want to experience, especially concerning the diaspora. But even all these festivals like Carnival and just,
oh man,
there's just so much litness going on, and it's not far. So I'm gonna make an effort to get out there, man.
You have to.
I will. We're working it out. So what about, have you gone anywhere overseas or any trips to Europe, Africa, Asia?
Yeah, I think
is that all of them? Europe, Africa, Asia? Oh, Australia. Yeah.
Australia. Oh, yeah, Australia's on the to-do list next year. I haven't been, but I'm trying to do Australia and New Zealand together.
Okay. Yeah.
I wish me luck. I'm trying. That's the goal. But on that, I've done a lot of solo travel overseas, so to speak, and a couple guys trips. So I've done Barcelona, Spain, Madrid, Portugal. I did a solo trip to Switzerland and just toured the whole country for like 10 days.
Okay. From
the coast on the water to the Alps for skiing, and I do not ski.
Right.
Let's clarify that. I am not going to try that again. I tried it once in the Alps. I checked that box.
Was that a first time?
But I almost died. Yeah, that was it. I said, if I'm going to do it, if I'm going to try out skiing, let's go to the Alps and try out skiing. That hour lesson, and I almost tore my ACL and broke my wrist. I'm done. I'm good.
But listen, you were living your best life until you almost didn't have one anymore. I'm with you, and I can relate 100%. I went out to the French Alps. It was my first time skiing in 20 years, my guy, since I was 6. And we're out there at Valmorel at one of those Club Med suites when I was living in Paris. And bro, when I tell you there were several, like it took me 3 days of just getting the nerve to really go down a hill, bro. So listen, shout out to
See,
Black
you got
Men
down the
Skiing.
hill. Black man skiing. Yeah, trying it out. Because we definitely have no idea what that is growing up. Like,
No,
skiing? What?
no, not us.
Nah,
Not from
man.
Chattanooga and Media,
Not from
Pennsylvania. That
Chattanooga.
wasn't us.
Yeah,
No,
no.
no.
But yeah, so I did that. I've gone to Cape Town, South Africa, and I've been on on Cape Town portion, but also the east coast of South Africa and Durban, which is amazing.
Yeah, bro.
And then where else? Marrakesh. Did a little tour in Morocco.
Okay.
Small stint in Paris.
It's okay. It's not going anywhere. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about
Yeah,
that.
yeah. It's definitely a place I want to venture to live for a little while.
Okay.
That's on the list of places I want to go live. So we have to talk about that.
Yeah. I got
you have the insight on that. Yeah,
I got you.
Yeah.
Okay,
So it's been a little travel.
So you've been here, there, and everywhere, and I like that you have a mix between solo and group travel because one of the things that always comes up is, how do you do it? And I've had guests on my show that travel with their significant others, and then people like me who literally, I'm solo dolo all the way. Like it's where I'm at right now. So you seem to appreciate a little bit of both, and it seems to. I mean, you don't seem turned off by either one of them. So I feel like that's rare.
Yeah, I mean, well, on top of that, with that being said, I think, more partial to solo travel, only because of the access to not having to plan a schedule.
Yeah.
You just wake up and do what you want to do. And sometimes, I definitely enjoy traveling with my significant other, but, it's a different kind of trip.
Right.
We definitely have to be, I'm more concerned with safety than I am by myself.
Right.
The adventure is a little different. I still have a great time, but I don't tend to jump into a hostel when I'm traveling with someone else versus when I'm by myself. I'll do an $8 a night pillow.
Right.
Yeah.
Pillow and a
that
slab.
I can do. Right. And be quite okay. But yeah.
100%. And shout out to your significant other for getting the opportunity to hear that on record.
Yeah, check.
Yes.
Done.
Listen, I'm here to make you look good, my guy.
Yeah, bag in the bank. Thank you.
Anytime, dude. So I got a question for you because I know you do have a pretty busy professional career. I want to include some of that later, but how do you determine your next move? You've mentioned Australia, New Zealand. I know there's a bunch of other places I'm sure you're interested in, but what kind of attracts you to the city? Is it the monuments? Is it the food, the culture, or just doing something random you have no idea about?
So, I mean, I wish I could say that I plan out all these big elaborate things, but I do have a list of places I want to go.
Okay.
But a lot of times it's just what's on sale.
Wow.
And where haven't I been? What's on sale and where haven't I been?
Okay.
You know what I mean? So it's Dominican Republic's on sale, but I've been there a few times. I want to go.
Right.
I caught Northern Lights was on my bucket list, right? And I assume it's on a lot of people's, maybe not, but great thing to see if you haven't seen it. And with that being said, randomly I was looking for flights, just bullshitting, and found $150 round trip to Iceland from New York.
Ooh.
I gotta take that trip. You know what I mean?
Right.
I gotta figure that out. I gotta get on that plane.
Right.
So that's how that happened. Other ones Marrakesh was a planned out trip, but a lot of times it's just, hey, this is on sale. Let's go.
Okay.
Yeah.
And just real quick, because believe it or not, I don't have a lot of experience getting discount flights. A lot of my travel has been sponsored or paid for in other ways. So what are some of the resources you use to get these amazing deals and just shoot out?
Two places I go to pretty regularly. Skyscanner.
Okay.
It's an app.
Yeah.
SKY Scanner. SCANNER. It's an app I use. They allow you to pick the dates that you're free, and you can just click I think there's an explore button, and it just checks flights everywhere.
Oh wow. Okay.
And it ranks them in price and country.
Okay.
So that's okay, I'm free Friday to next Tuesday. What are the cheap flights right now to anywhere? So I do that. I also use what's it called? Travelpirate.com, I think.
Okay, haven't heard of that one.
And they send the glitch emails. And from that's actually where I found the Iceland one. I got an email, the glitch email. Travelpirates.com. And they've been great. They send an email probably once a week on glitches and everything else. And then those are the two things that usually work for me. I know a lot of people got benefited from the Africa discount glitch that happened, I guess, 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I missed that one, but
I might have to get on this email list.
but I missed it. Yeah,
okay.
It's good. It's good.
That's what's up. So these are like
waiting for Australia to hit.
listen, put it out there into the universe and call a hacker
it's
friend.
happening. Oh yeah.
I mean, allegedly. Right.
Get into my DMs. No questions asked.
Exactly. We're gonna have it in the show notes. We're gonna have it in the show notes. Okay, so that's what's up, because I think that's super useful. People are always trying to, even experienced travelers always trying to do it for cheaper, because once you're okay with being in hostels and eating more locally rather than more high-end fare experiences, travel is, the transportation is most of your cost.
Right. And that was an eye-opening thing too, where, growing up, you always assume that travel has to be expensive or that it's crazily priced. But, the more and more you do it, you figure out how to survive on regular pay. Like you do it $20 a day, $30 a day. How do you do this? And it's realized it's definitely possible.
Right.
And that's what's eye-opening to me too. It's cheaper for me to go somewhere else than it is to eat in America.
Bro, that's the truth. So, like I came home one day and I just seen somebody's stories on Instagram. They're talking about the rent that they were paying out in Malaysia. And I was like, I'm just going to stop paying rent here and move there. I'm just going to do that.
Yeah. Right. I was like, I could be living in a house on the beach for like half of what I pay in rent. Like what?
That's not even a hard sell. That's just like, oh, okay, cool.
No.
Just buy life.
Okay.
Let's do this again.
Yeah. I'm done.
So here's an interesting question, because you mentioned that not a lot of people were traveling in your family. Maybe nobody was traveling growing up. Mm-hmm. What has been some of the feedback or the impressions that your family has gotten? I'm sure they're aware of what you do and proud of your professional accomplishments. What's been some of the response? Has it inspired them to travel?
Dude, they love it. I mean, right now they've all like kind of that living vicariously through my experiences.
Legit,
a lot of them still like afraid of the planes and dealing with the international stuff, which is, I get that because of media.
You're right.
I have some of my cousins in the same generation have started venturing out a lot more, and they've been going on trips while I've been working. Right. And I'm like, damn, I missed a big trip to Aruba, Turks and Caicos, and I was like, but I'm glad to see that they're there, and that's something that also inspires me to keep doing what I'm doing, because I know people are paying attention.
Right.
Yeah.
That's super cool.
It's really good.
That's a real blessing to be able to inspire people to do something positive for themselves. Mm-hmm. And that's, we were talking a little bit before about like part of the purpose of the show is to show these perspectives so that others can feel encouraged to try something different, like traveling, take that week-long trip. Right. Yeah. That's, and I think and a lot of the stuff is like, I tell people like, it doesn't like, if you can get a week, great. But like 3-4 days could be enough to spark that hunger or that interest. Right. Like just to get out and say, oh, wait a second, this is so close. I could just hop on a plane to be there in 3 hours or 4 hours or whatever. And it's a whole new world. Yeah. And that is amazing too. Bro, I haven't been to the islands yet, but I know for damn well sure you could just show up to customs and find you some inspiration and just turn around and say, you know what? Definitely. You know what? I'll be back this time around Christmas when I get a couple more days. Yep. I'll see you again. Right, exactly. You got WhatsApp or like, what's good? Right. I mean, WhatsApp has changed the game. Bro, WhatsApp has changed the game. Bro, who are you telling? we don't need international numbers no more. Yo. Like, you can translate and I can understand what you're saying. We can meet up. We still can talk. I can let you know when bro, it is amazing. Right? Even the Google Translate joint is like supposed to be super solid. Man, technology is changing everything out here. Yeah, man. I hope people are taking advantage of it. And you brought up a lot of good points. Like, you kind of have, bro, when I went to Paris, I taught Black history, and I learned about Black
Mm-hmm.
adventurers who've been doing this, since the 16, 17, 18, 1900s. Like,
Yes.
me doing
Yep.
my little thing is nothing because I could find out the news in Paris, like, right on my phone. These dudes would get on a boat
Right.
for 6 weeks, show up, and if they didn't make that
Yeah.
appointment time, people just assumed you were dead. You know what I mean? Like,
Right. And
it,
that's and like when you start researching and learning that stuff, it's amazing what it took to see the world back then.
bro, like, if
You know what I mean?
you're brave today, like, you would have been literally a god upon
Right.
earth 100 years ago.
Yeah. Oh man. But I probably would have been. I feel like I would have felt a lot safer because customs didn't exist.
Mm, mm.
Now I feel like I have gotten profile, and so I feel like I would have enjoyed life a lot differently, being able to carry certain things across the ocean for 8 weeks. I just like I'd have been ready when I got off that boat to
Right.
deal with whatever faced me.
You know what? I think I understand where we're going on that. And somebody recently asked me a
Yeah.
question about that, and I was like, I feel you. You
Yeah.
know, and I think it's just an exchange of experiences because at the same time,
It is.
you could have died of tuberculosis. You get one little
Of
rusty nail
course, of
scratch,
course.
and so now we're just going to jump into your profession. So you are in the medical profession. I want you to explain what it is because your handle is Doc Flanagan on Instagram. It'll be in the show notes, y'all. But let's talk about what you do and maybe how travel has inspired your message and your perspective on your professional life.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm a nurse anesthetist by profession, vocation.
Mm-hmm.
But I also went back to school to get my doctorate in nursing practice with a concentration on anesthesia.
That's what's up.
And so one of these things, a big part of my values and one of my like goals in life is to be an inspiration, but also a resource to people. And by people, I mean like young Black men, young Black women that are aspiring to achieve. And the handle and everything I do now is all influenced on how do you get into this profession that's been unspoken but highly sought after, and how do we break down the barrier to increase the diversity inside of it?
Right.
That goes hand in hand with like while you're doing it, what does success look like? How do you get it? How do you enjoy it? And then how do you build generational wealth around it? And wealth in general doesn't necessarily have to be finances, though I do want that to be a part of it.
Right.
But wealth in like experiences,
right,
like knowledge, like a lot of that comes into that's where the travel falls in. How do you get your family to now go on those trips? How do you save for it? How do you do it without going broke?
Right.
And all that is like, okay, there's a platform being a Black male in the nursing profession in anesthesia with a doctorate from an Ivy League school.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm trying to check all these boxes. That's like, look, I did it from Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Right.
I know what you got to go through to get here, but I also know we built for greatness.
Right.
Let's go be great.
Right, dude. 100%. Wow. And so those who might not know, because now that you put the anesthetician part on it, like this. Listen, minorities, I don't want to say minorities, that's not the word I want to say. People of color, more diverse backgrounds are super needed, especially Black men in nursing in general. But then in your particular field, bro, it's like, so they don't have enough male nurses, they don't have enough male Black nurses, and they don't have enough male Black nurses doing anesthesiology. Like, that's super dope, man. And
the numbers are crazy. It's like 1%, 2% in the field.
But for those who really keeping their ears open, that's money. Like if you young or kind of trying to figure out your decision, like that's money, that's leverage, that's arbitrage right there, fellas.
And with that, it's the time comes with it. Like I'm blessed to be in a profession where you're compensated well, but you're also given the time off to enjoy that compensation.
Right.
Like
right.
if you get 6 to 10 weeks of vacation every year, like you got to do something with that vacation. Let's go get on a plane somewhere.
6 to 10 weeks. I would think you were French.
Right. What? Exactly. Oh man. Yeah. It's a great opportunity, man.
Okay.
Yeah, I love it.
And I really appreciated that you pointed out about kind of building a bigger vision for what wealth might be, more than finances, but the ability to send your family on trips. Because one of the things that I hear so often from people who might be married or have kids and be in a relationship is, oh, well, you guys can do it because you're single. No. And I high key just want to smack them so hard because it's about changing your vision and what's needed to make that possible.
Right.
There are people, you can find them on Instagram easy, but there are stories of dozens of people and people of color who travel the world with their entire families. They found a way to make that desire bigger than, the short-term barriers.
Yeah, and it's making it a priority.
Yeah.
And I think when we aspire for more, I think the more you achieve goals, when you set them, you start realizing there's nothing you can't obtain.
Right.
And so when you say, I want to take my family to Europe next summer, you set that goal and you do it. And then you realize after you've done it once, like, okay, where are we going next summer, next year?
Right.
You know what I mean? And you just keep doing that. And like 5-10 years, you have a plethora of experiences for your family to draw from and memories to draw from. And it just starts with that one time where you say, look, let me save up, and whatever it takes, I'm gonna make it happen.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. 1,000%. And I know that there's some other elements you incorporate into this. And this is a full vision, y'all. I've been watching them on Instagram for a little bit because everybody knows I stalk the hell out of all of my guests, which is how we get such quality people on the show. But I mean, you talk a lot about financial independence and managing your money, and that directly relates to what you're sharing about getting discounts on travel. So I just wanted to know if you could maybe share, your top 2 or 3 tips for how people can better manage their, how would somebody start to manage their finances better so they could take that trip? Oh,
perfect. I mean, right now, the overall thing people always say is like, pay yourself first. Now, that's easy to say, but like in action, what I tell people to do, what I suggest people to do is like set aside a certain amount of money every 2 weeks or every month. And make it automatic. So if it's $50 every 2 weeks, $50 a month, just start doing that. Instead, you can set up where most banks have a direct withdrawal and put it in a different account.
Right.
And then once you get to 6 months or whatever, you pull from that pocket of money, and that will allow you to do the things that you want to do. Everything I tell people a lot of times, just make things automatic, and it'll build on its own.
100%.
You don't have to think about it. And I do that for retirement. I do that for any other big trips I want to do. I just set up an account, pull them out this much away every couple weeks or every month. And then I look back and say, oh, I got enough to take a trip.
Right.
Where are we going?
Right.
And that makes it so much easier. Like, I mean, people stress about it and think about it. Like, don't think about it. We think about enough stuff during the day. There's enough on our mind. 2 clicks, automatic withdrawal every month, done.
Yeah.
And then you celebrate. You celebrate with a trip. Yeah.
Right? It's like a twice a year birthday present to yourself, or one big birthday present.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's on point, man. It's that out of sight, out of mind thing, but towards, something that you enjoy rather than just your bills. And that's part of the way that I saved up for my trip. I used not plugging anybody, so I won't use any names, but I got an online bank account, and I would withdraw a certain amount of money from my paycheck from my main account. And and it was literally called the Paris Trip Fund.
Yeah.
Make it. I like naming my stuff fun stuff like boat money or shoe money and stuff like that. It's budgeting, but not feeling constrained. It's budgeting to allow you to do things you want to do.
Yeah,
and
I try to make sure that people we don't get into this strict, rigid idea of like, I gotta save everything right now. I'm like, nah, man, you can enjoy life. I was like, I tell like my students, like that, my mentees, like, okay, when you're about to graduate with your degree and this salary's about to hit, that last 6 months, make a wish list of like 5 things that you dreamed of having, whether it's a purse, a pair of shoes, a big trip, whatever it is. Make that list before you graduate, and then get the shit off the list, buy all that shit,
right,
and then start saving for your retirement, for your other trips, for other big stuff. But get that list taken care of, because you're gonna always want it. You deserve it. Get it once, and then just let that, then control it after that.
Right. And the funny thing about those lists is once you do that, like, especially with so much intention, I can only imagine how powerful it is when you relate this to them and they actually go through the exercise. But it's just that it's an exercise, because once you get that first bag or that first new laptop, you really don't want another that badly. Like, it's not You know, it's not like doing
Yeah.
crack. Like, you just don't want more. You do it once and you're like, damn, did I really want it as bad as I thought I would? Like, you know
Right.
what? I'm gonna put
And
this
then
money next
you
time.
start,
Oh,
yeah, you start comparing that to what it would cost for an experience. You're like, okay, oh
exactly.
shit, I don't need another one of those. But this week in Malaysia or Zimbabwe, oh man,
Right.
I need to do that.
Yeah, dude, that's a really clever thing to share with people, because kind of once you get it out of your system once or twice, then you really
Yeah.
start seeing, you know, oh, I'm really into experiences, or hey, I'm really into designer jeans. That's just really what makes me feel
Right.
good.
Right.
And
But at
mhm,
the same time, I'm into designer jeans or bags. I need to go to Milan.
right,
You know what I mean?
right,
Now you're like, oh shit, I need to go to Paris. I need to go to Fashion Week in Paris.
yo,
Your whole, it's just finding out what that thing is to move you.
mm-hmm,
And like you said, you got to do it once, check the box once, but it may open up a new world for you to dive into, and that can spark travel. So it's always, it could be. I would love the culinary experience.
right.
Oh man, I need to go to Copenhagen and try out this new restaurant that just opened or whatever else. It's just, yeah, that's what gets me going. You just start thinking about all these different activities and things you can do outside of where you're stationed right now, and it just, oh man, I'm trying to get on the plane right now.
Right? No. I'm almost drooling here. I'm just like, yo, what
Yeah,
kind of ridiculous shit can I pull off this year? Like,
exactly. Oh
but
shit.
but that's fun for me. For me, I'm all about the experiences.
Hmm.
But that's awesome that you get the space and the opportunity to share and
Yeah,
sew into other people. And I had a quick question, because I know you were just in St. Louis, and I spent some time in STL. And were you
yeah.
speaking there about these similar sort of
Oh,
deals?
actually, I was. I was actually moderating a doctoral symposium for the National Black Nurses Association. And
Okay.
in the midst of that, I was, yeah, that's a mouthful.
Yeah.
But in the midst of that, I was also a panelist for the doctoral process, the benefits of it, and then just how to live life. What's life like after the doctoral process? What are the benefits
Hmm.
that come with it, and how do you leverage that to get what you want and to increase your professional career? Yeah.
Wow. If any of you guys are listening that are even around this field, or specifically in what Dante's doing, make sure y'all link up, because there's just some areas where we're not represented, and we're so underrepresented that we don't know we're not represented. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
so if you
That
guys
is
know
it.
somebody that can benefit just from hearing some of the story, make sure you share this episode, because this is dope stuff. And to be at this level with this amount of experience, like, thank you so much for being on to share
Oh
some of
man,
this.
I love it. This is life goals, man. This is life goals.
Bro, like, if I just did this every day, I'd be totally. It's basically what I do. It's, I'm front. This is all I do, pretty much. Uh, so here's a question for you, especially growing up
Hmm.
from Chattanooga and being in the South. How has travel changed your perspective of what it means to you to be a black man in the United States?
Um, it has on two fronts.
Okay.
One is realizing that our people have suffered across the world,
Mm.
across the globe, um, and we're still suffering. Like, apartheid was recent as fuck.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like, this is real. People, we still are outcasts in some places. Um, but on another note, as a black man, it also lets me know that we still have far to go in America,
Mm.
because there are all those places we go where the love is just genuine, and we're chilling with everybody, and um, we're all getting along, whether we speak the same language or not. And it gives me some hope that we can get to that point if we can come together and get some understanding and empathy about each other's experiences. Um, Not to deny our history, because our history is real,
Right.
and we need to be very aware of it. Um, but it does let me know that there's still work to be done,
Mm-hmm.
and there is a better way. And a lot of it is seeing that it's a better way, and we need to get. How do we get to that better way, that better option?
Simply by
Yeah,
experiencing it firsthand in your travels. Is that what
right.
you mean?
Yep. Yeah, just by experiencing it firsthand, and seeing either the remnants of racism left over, how it still affects society. And it's different to see it as a quote unquote outsider from another culture, because we're also dealing with the same thing within our own society.
Right.
And it's different when you're living in it to see it versus when you see it from the outside looking in. Because you may say, hey, that's crazy. Why would they do that? And you're like, wait a second. Same shit just happened to us in America.
Right.
Yeah. And so it puts everything in perspective. Yeah.
Wow, that's really interesting. I asked this question here and there, and it's because it's interesting to know how it affects everybody differently. But I think this is the most different answer so far in terms of, hey, we still have problems. Let's go back home and fix it. And I have to say that probably has to stem from, you mentioned you were involved in the community growing up. And I mean, just the level of, effort and the extent you go to really capitalize on your profession, what you do there. I mean, that's, it seems consistent, but that's really interesting.
Yeah. I think you have I think it's, I personally, I think if you have a platform, you have to use it.
Right.
And I feel like, I have a platform. I've been trying to develop and grow and get to a platform. I think I have that where I can have some influence and impact. And it's irresponsible not to use it. And to ignore it. And I think that's something I've embraced at 30. It was like, I got to do more. That was the idea of me going back to an Ivy League school for my doctorate. I was like, I can travel, I could settle, I could just live life. But at 30, I was like, no, I got to do more, man. I still got nieces and nephews who need to see there's something bigger than the South. Nobody from where I'm from that I know of went to an Ivy League school.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They need to see that. So it was like, okay, you can do it, go do it, and then show it. And then inspire others to do the same thing. Like, yeah, let's like I said, let's get it. Let's be great.
Right. 1,000%.
Yeah.
And it takes all types, and I really appreciate that your heart is set on that, because that's not my mission. That's not my purpose.
Yeah.
But we need everybody to be a part of this ecosystem so that wherever you are, somebody, with integrity, of note, with experience can be there to help lead. That's really for the culture. And I know people say it a lot, but that's culture right there. That's building community.
Yeah. It's big. And but it's like I said, we all need to we got to do our part on different avenues and different platforms. Like, you're still doing your part because you're inspiring people out here to do more, to do something different, to gain experience. You know what I mean? To see more of the world. And that is amazing in and of itself.
Appreciate that, man. That's what I'm saying. It takes all type, because listen, like I said, I could actually do this every day and see if that happens. And I have a question. Since you have spent time building your platform, and so outside of doing this and yoga every day and making my bed, which is all I'm doing this month, I'm also I'm
trying to get to that level, actually.
Well, first you'll need to quit your job.
We're working on it.
I hear it. It's coming.
Yeah.
So outside of just the other stuff I do, I'm also involved in digital marketing, and I've been in that space for a while. And I fully believe, we were talking about how Instagram is what it is right now socially, how it's connecting people, how Facebook is connecting people. How would you advise others who might have, something within them to share, that have a desire to build a platform? How would you kind of advise them to get started doing that today with technology and the tools we have?
Yeah, I tell everyone there's networking. Like, you have to network, and it's not like as a title or objective, but just that we are so connected. If you see someone who you want to talk to them.
Right.
Reach out to them. There's so many ways to connect with somebody, whether it's email, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat. There's just so many ways to connect to people. But I also tell people, like, authenticity always wins out.
Yeah.
Like,
100%.
that is something that, I had a vision, but I didn't know how big it was going to be. I just wanted to do, I just wanted to act.
Right.
But when people realize that you're true to yourself and your passion, they feel that on the other side, whether it's in your post or in your communication, in your talk, your speeches. People know if you're genuine or not, or if you're just bullshitting.
Right.
And that's something that I think builds a true, authentic platform where when hundreds of people supporting you, like, tooth and nail supporting you versus having 100,000 followers who may or may not know your name. Like those 100 supporters who ride or die for you mean more than having the numbers of 100,000. Because if I can get 100 people to buy a book at $10 a piece, I just made 10 grand. If I can't get 100,000 to buy anything, we just got followers for the sake of having followers. And I think that's important to cultivate that authenticity where you can then leverage that into bigger things. But you gotta have that base. You gotta have that grassroots.
Bro, I'm sitting here just like, yo, did we go to the same business school or watch the same damn like fucking YouTube videos? I was like, how is this dude completely on brand? Like, and y'all, straight up, I do not talk to any of my guests before we do this damn show, and it comes out.
We literally just spoke today, an hour ago.
I was like, hey, so is it Donte or Donte? Like, I was just like, I don't know. I learned to read years ago. I just make it up. Yeah. But dude, you're so on brand. And when I consult, I tell people, you want those 100 people that are going to buy everything that you ever make, rather than those 100,000 followers. And you got to cycle through the 1% who's actually going to purchase and give a shit. And that's huge because it spits right in the face of, they talk about social media inciting depression and anxiety, and it's only because of these vanity metrics. Like, I don't care how many followers I have.
Oh man,
it has no material difference. I care who connects, who's reaching out, who's saying good job, who can I go out and support. Like, that's where I base my thing off of. I'd be like, yo, that's a dope quote, or that's a dope shirt, or where can I get something like that,
Right. And that's the thing too. Like, I want to always be approachable.
Yeah.
Like, I want you to know that, and to be able to tell me no, I sent him a message and he responded. Like, nah, you can reach out to him.
Right.
Like, that means a lot to people. There's so many, just phantom accounts and people that just aren't genuine to it. So it's good when you meet somebody who is like superstars to just any Joe Smo 1,000 miles away, and they're like, oh no, let's talk.
Right. This
is how I got this. Yeah, it's big. It's bigger than just the numbers.
Yeah, dude, that's so on brand. Yeah. And shout out to your mentees who get not only solid advice about, their career and professional life, but I mean, you got some real solid gems. And it's not just because I agree with them, obviously. But the thing is, these things work out in the long term. And that's important. When you're talking about financial independence, wealth, experience, for your family and travels, dude, you're talking, in the macro, 30 years, 20 years. That's
right.
You need stuff that's going to be sustainable and hold true, After Instagram is gone, we have some new crazy app where I don't know what we're gonna have.
We don't. But when you do find out, let me know so we can get some more money.
Yeah. Oh, dude, listen, I'm waiting for virtual reality to kick off. Yo, bro,
I'm saying I'm all for growth.
Yo, trust me, like 10 years, if you want to see Jerry, you actually need to go visit the actual cloud. Because
that's what I'm talking about.
Like, oh, Jerry uploaded his consciousness? Is like, the hell I did?
Yeah, I did, yes. And you should too, for a monthly fee.
Right. Subscription based, yeah. Come out, hang out in my brain for 10 minutes. See.
Oh, man.
See how that works out for you.
Oh, man. Yeah, I streams of income. Ooh.
Multiple. So we're gonna have to. I'm working on it now, man. I'm trying to find some way to get all the guests, and I call them the tribe, the alumni of the show, because everybody is so good at what they do and is so open to different thoughts and ideas. I want to find a way to kind of get everybody on a roundtable discussion on just one topic, and I'm trying to figure out a fucking platform, a way to do it. And I'll keep you up in the loop, and everybody listen. Yeah. I'm working on that, but I don't know how it's going to get done.
We're doing the same thing, actually. I've been researching this for the past 2 weeks.
Okay. See, we're so on brand right now.
Exactly. Like, I'm trying to figure out, I have, my mentees, we have topics we need to go over together. I need all of y'all on one platform.
Yeah.
Coming soon to a theater near you.
Yeah, it's gonna be a collab because I don't even know how to do it, but we're gonna work it out. So
no, you know what? Fuck it. We need to invent it. You know what I mean? That's what it is. That's what that is.
Where my hacker friends at?
Yeah. hackers, get this together.
I've got Bitcoin.
I've
Yes.
got all the Bitcoin and invented coins.
Yes. Right. Check out my new Black Travel IPO or ICO.
Hey,
Yeah. Man. Dude, this is so great. This is making my day. So
yes,
we've talked a little bit on the different initiatives you have, and I always want to give my guests an opportunity to talk about what they have going on. So let's talk about upcoming trips for you, and maybe more clearly talk about the platforms you're creating or have created around your profession.
yeah. Right now, this past year has been a lot of just professional building and I guess conferences and speaking engagements.
Mm-hmm.
The next big trip I'm focusing on is the Australia New Zealand trip. That's coming up. I want to do 3 to 4 weeks.
Okay.
In Australia, New Zealand.
That's like
I'm
2 of the
focused on
Lord of
that.
the Ring movies. Like you could get some shit done.
Yeah. Oh,
That's the
yes.
whole timeline of Lord of the Rings. Nice.
You see where I'm going with this? Yes.
Yes.
I just crossed out Game of Thrones in Iceland, so
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings, it's time. But in the meantime, I'm also trying to just wait for those hacks to come through, and just if I can get 4 days off, I'm ready to go.
Right.
I'm trying to do Paris soon.
Okay.
Very soon. That's on the list, and Asia too. I've got to get to Asia, man. Like I've done Istanbul and the half Europe, half Asia thing, but I need to go to like authentic Asia.
Asia. Yes.
Yeah, got to get there. Professionally and brand wise, I'm doing some speaking at North Carolina A&T for nurse anesthesia for the Black nurses that are there, or people of color that want to come out, but just showing them what anesthesia looks like, showing them that anesthesia is an option.
Right. And real quick, not to cut you off, but we've mentioned the word so many times. What is anesthesia?
Anesthesia is the taking away of consciousness. Okay. And that can happen in a number of different ways, or feeling, I should say. It's the decrease and elimination of feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that could be pain, that can be your consciousness, sedation. I have a gamut of drugs and ways to do it, but it's the alleviation of feeling.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this is usually for like pre-surgery, just in case anybody didn't know, because we've been using a lot of multisyllabic words throughout this whole interview. I just want to make sure that nobody has to struggle too hard to get to Google because they can't spell.
Yeah. See, here you go. Easiest way to do it is to Google CRNA.
Okay.
That's our initials, the acronym, CRNA.
Okay.
You'll instantly pop up to what it is, what we do. But it's the anesthesia that happens during surgery.
Okay.
Or any procedure. So I'm there with you the entire time you are having surgery. I also take care of your medication needs, pain needs after surgery, and I interview you before surgery to get your full history. So I cover the whole gamut of your experience for your surgery or procedure. Yeah. Okay,
that's what's up. Thank you for breaking it down professionally, because if I did it, people were like, I don't know about that. Let me trust the guy with the PhD. So you have these platforms you're building. Do you have a certain name for the platform or initiative?
No, it's been like I said, it goes back to just being authentic. Doc Flanagan started out as just pushing for diversity in anesthesia, and given a lot more of my background for finances and entrepreneurship, it became clear to me that nurses and nurses of color needed more help and guidance for our financial future. And that's what pulled me. I'm still promoting diversity in anesthesia, but I'm also trying to specialize in the financial component.
Right.
Because a lot of times we graduate and the compensation and money is great, but what do you do with it? And no one's telling us what to do with it.
Right.
So it's like, okay, let me tell you what to do with it, or what I've done with it, and how you can get to this. I mean, I've entrepreneurial wise, small little tidbit. I have real estate. I'm a co-owner of a restaurant in Atlanta for the last 6 years.
Okay.
I've done independent anesthesia with my own company.
Hey.
Used to own an event consulting company in Atlanta. We've been doing business. So a lot of that opportunity has happened because of how to manage the money that comes with the salary and compensation. But it didn't it didn't all happen now. You know, a lot of stuff started in my early 20s. And then how does that look for retirement? Like, okay, what does compound interest mean? How do I benefit from it? You know what I mean? Like, we need those conversations. Like, saving $20 a month goes a long way in 30 years.
Right, 100%. Some of the foundational stuff, and to be honest, I hate that phrase. In reality, everybody needs this stuff. You know, for me,
we do
graduating with 2 business degrees and not learning anything about personal finance or sales and negotiation. Like, okay, that was my number one business lesson. Don't go to business school.
Oh man, bruh. That I almost made that decision too. And that was the people that was out there like on the other side saying you don't have to. You can learn so much more. And knowing that I had already learned a lot without the degree.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Learn how to make money. That's the real skill set. That's what business is.
Yes. The rules are meant to be broken. Mm-hmm. The rules are just phantom things. Like, you need to learn how to make money.
Right.
What does supply and demand actually mean?
Right. Market arbitrage, which is going to be one of my next tattoos. Is just going to be arbitrage written across my forehead. People are going to be like, "What is that?" And I was like, "You are witnessing it
right now.
Cash at me."
yes, cash at me. Oh, another technological amazing thing that has happened in our lifetime.
Bro, the ability to send and receive payments with no transaction costs. Are you kidding me?
Right.
Oh man,
like, can we put big bank out of business?
Unless
man.
Until the day I own one, yes, we can put them all out of business. As soon as I own one, no, we need to preserve.
No, exactly. Business is business. I understand.
Right. Man, this is gonna be good. We got to find some way to link up and share some more of this because I know I have other people in the tribe who have some financial knowledge, and I've done things a very different way. You know, my travel was based off of realizing that a 401k wasn't enough for me.
Yeah.
And so what I've done is I've taken the approach of investing in self rather than these things. Because what I realized was after I quit my first job, spent that money, bro, I got it all back and some. And I was like, but then I got a year and a half in Paris and traveling through Africa and all around the world, fluent in French, all these friends and relationships. So for me, it seemed like the more I focused on investing in the quality of my life, like I said, I'm just doing yoga and making my bed, the more that finances came to me more easily. So now I'm just kind of putting that to test. If I got to get another job, I will. I'm qualified as shit. So it's fine.
Yeah.
But
and I think that's important too. Like when I tell people like I value freedom and financial freedom, and I break it down, like, look, I value being able to do whatever I want to do when I want to do it.
Right.
And that doesn't have to be me making $1 million a year.
Right.
Like I want, like, fuck you money.
Right.
And fuck you money to me is like, I don't have to come to work today. I can pay rent. It's good.
Right.
I want to go see something else different. I can do that. And that I value people that can do that and make those life-changing decisions. Like, once these student loans are gone, oh man, some employers gonna have a problem.
Like, we can't hold them. But that, real talk though, that's the thing that motivated me, because I realized, and mind you, I made good money, what most people consider good money, since I graduated. But my amount of student loans, bruh, and if only we had some more education and insight before we went into it, but like the amount of money that they were paying me sounded good, but wasn't enough to solve my problem. So I said, I need to do something radically different than continue to show up here every day. And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing now. And now I get to talk with you. Like, it was worth it.
Yeah. And vice versa. Like, I can take my time out. I'm like, look, I work a lot because I'm just doing some other stuff, but I can take time now. We can talk, chat, and this is more fulfilling than anything else I could be doing.
Bro, this is making my day right now. And that's worth whatever the cost is for me, because I'm about the experiences and these connections. So this is, dude, we're too on brand. At some point we got, I'm pumped for the Doc Flanagan Jerry the Third collab, because man, we're gonna have it all. We're gonna have hoodies and t-shirts and off-white sneakers. Y'all gonna love it. Y'all gonna love it.
It's gonna be something crazy. And limited supply too. because
Limited supply.
money and we not trying to have no surplus. Yeah.
No, we going pre-sale 75%.
Easy.
Bruh.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so ready.
This episode is gonna be called "Ooh." It's just gonna be
Ooh
with Doc Flanagan. Hey, yo, because people are gonna get their life from this, man. I'm pumped.
Yeah,
bro, dude, thank you for
let me tell you one more thing.
What's up?
One more thing.
What's up?
Coming up, I am about to release an article write up.
Yeah, talk about it.
About how to go. The goals to go into the steps necessary to prepare for the financial rigor of graduate school.
Okay.
Mainly how to increase your credit score.
Okay.
Or to not have it decrease.
Right.
Other thing too, people can look up. My doctorate was in music therapy.
Oh wow.
So, yeah, my publication. I have a publication that's floating around discussing the benefits of music therapy while under general anesthesia.
Ooh.
So the benefits of decreasing pain and increasing patient satisfaction while you're asleep.
Wow.
Crazy. But the research is there. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
man.
I'm hip to some of that stuff, and let me say I hope you hit, well, I don't know which is going to come first, you hitting financial independence or them firing your ass, because Big Pharma is not about this shit, and you know it.
Oh, I know. I know. You mean I can help with pain for free? Because Pandora is free?
Because it's free?
Spotify is free?
Right?
Ooh. Okay.
They're not ready. Real quick, because we got a couple more minutes before we got to jump.
Yeah.
What would be the one piece of advice for a young man of color, a person of color, to get started traveling? What would be a mindset shift, a gem you could drop, or just an action they can take so they can do something practical to start making these moves?
First thing I would say is commit to getting your passport.
Mm-hmm.
Commit to getting your passport, because all the opportunities that come up, you can't take advantage of them without it. Get that passport. If you can gift a teenage boy his passport, do it. It's such a big deal. Beyond that, just when you're on the social and you see where people are, Google those locations. Google what's about those locations.
Right.
And see if any of them spark your interest.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, I love that, man. And that is part of the initiative. We talked about that a little bit, giving away one a month. And it's been like pulling teeth, which will help with some general anesthesia. We're going to talk about it because maybe you know somebody in Chattanooga, and bro, seriously, we don't have anybody for August already. So we'll talk about it when we follow up. And dude, this week is it's going down. So dude, sage words of advice. You talk about saving money on travel, just getting your financial stuff together, experiencing the world. Bro, this is just going to be
this is amazing.
I love it. I'm pumped.
Yeah.
Dude, thank you so much for the time. This has been a pleasure.
Thank you for having me.
Anytime. My day is lit now. I'm about to go to yoga with a smile on my face and a drink in my hand.
I'm about to do the same. No yoga, but I am about to drink.
Your practice is your practice, brother. Namaste.
Hey, namaste. Yes, indeed. I'm gonna stay drinking this bourbon.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Man, and on that note, appreciate it, man. This has been dope.
Hey, thank you. It's a highlight of my day right here, actually. Thank you.
Dude, well, I can't wait to hear this back and get it out to the people, and we'll stay in touch for sure, man.
Okay, perfect.
All right, bro. Take care, man. This has been Point Noir. You guys have just been blessed. Go follow Doc Flanagan on Instagram. Stuff will be in the show notes. And until the next time, we'll see you all.
Hollers.
Peace.
Peace.
It's so difficult not to crack a whole bunch of just corny doctor jokes or doctor references when talking about this guy, but it's so awesome. Super proud to know him and have a chance to interview Donte Flanagan. Y'all make sure you check him out on Instagram at doc.flanagan. Some of the resources he mentioned skyscanner.com, travelpirate.com, and also to learn more about some of the articles and projects he's up to, definitely check out diversitycrna.org. And if you're interested in the field of anesthesiology, reach out to him. He's super approachable. I'm sure he'd love to present you with some resources to get you started along a similar journey to his. So thanks again, Donte. That was awesome. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. And as always, I'm going to keep plugging these passports and what we're doing here at The Point. We are sponsoring men of color to get their passports. Just got the first check out in the mail. It's been a little bit of a while. It's been a little bit slower than I wanted it to be, but that's life. So here's what you do. 1, be a man of color. 2, follow Jerry the Third on Twitter. 3, at Jerry the Third on Twitter and let him know what having a passport would mean to you. And number 4, just make sure you include the hashtag #Passpoint18. Really trying to make this as simple as possible. So for those of you who do listen and have your passports, just take a couple seconds, 5, 10 seconds, a sip of water, and think of somebody who doesn't have a passport, and you don't even have to travel with them. Frankly, you don't. You could just send them out on their own and you guys go to different parts of the planet. That's cool too. But just think of somebody that might be in your life that doesn't have a passport. And if not, ask somebody, because we're really about this cause and really need your support to help keep things going, because I will really just ask random people in the street. So save Jerry from doing that. Follow him on Twitter. This has been another amazing session, session 14 at Point Noir. I'm Jerry the Third, signing off.